Loch Ness is well known for its so-called monster since the edge of 19th century. It all started when a trustworthy source claimed to have been bitten by a lake monster. Since the recount attained attention in the 1930s, so many witnesses have been reported. Today, we are not going to waste our time by discussing the worthless hoaxes, but just two reasonable evidences on Nessie the monster, including its turnouts. So many people have frequently reported that they have seen this monster that lives in Loch Ness. However, the descriptions given by these people on Nessie were not enough to paint an overall picture of this creature. When we combined most of the details, all we could refer to was some imaginary animal. Even the famous photograph of Nessie, called the surgeon's photograph, was proven to be a hoax as it was nothing more than a misleading effort using plastic materials. So the point is, we cannot simply take in all the visual context blindly, as assumption and imagination could have played a huge part. But it wouldn't be the same case for someone who has genuine knowledge of wildlife, right? Arthur Grant, a veterinary student, noticed a dark image moving along the road as he was on his motorbike. This happened around 1:30 a.m. on 5th January 1934. The dark image he observed had a long neck, bearing a small snake-like head. Within a few seconds of the encounter, its eyes turned towards him just before the huge body plunged down the steep bank, entering the water with a great splash. In his detailed recount, Grant stated that he observed two front flippers, along with what was probably a pair of back flippers, and a long tail, approximately 2 meters, with a rounded tip. According to him, the animal appeared to be 5 to 6 meters long and over 1 meter high. Large flipper-like tracks were found near where he claimed to have witnessed the monster. In light of the descriptions, Nessie resembled a prehistoric animal. First off with the tracks. The mark left by the witnessed creature, including the ones in all the other cases, were concluded to have soft prints and could have been made by literally anything. As for the verbal description of the veterinary student, they were referring to plesiosaur, an aquatic reptile which has gone extinct. It has been 60 million years since this species walked the face of Earth. Basically, they shared the world with dinosaurs. At the same time, there were so many reports of serpent-like creatures resembling the same prehistoric animal from around the world. So, they had no choice except to bring in better technology to explore this possibility, and that gave us more evidence. Before we could go any further, head on to our channel to find more interesting videos. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our videos. This effort was assisted by sonar and photographic technology. Sonar technology is basically to form images by sending out high-frequency sound waves and obtaining the reflected waves. It was of great help because photograph machines could hardly capture the images at a reasonable distance, let alone going underwater. Surely, introducing the technology led into a better speculation of the water, claimed to be the habitat of this ancestral monster. They found two things. The sonar detected a shoal of fish moving rapidly underwater, as if they were fleeing from something else. Instants later, a large solid object about 6 to 9 meters long was recorded. Since the cameras were triggered by motion, a picture was also taken. Once developed, the object that passed by was seen to have flipper-like structures attached to a larger body. Scientists confirmed that these so-called flippers were hydrodynamically efficient, which means it was perfect for an aquatic animal's movement. What was more pressing? It very closely resembled a plesiosaur. By this point, we had to be sure what we are going at, as rediscovering a wiped off species will have a phenomenal impact. In order to make sure if Nessie is indeed a plesiosaur, things have to wait till the 21st century. Due to the exponential development in the field of biology, we called environmental DNA for help. It is said the animals that roam a habitat leave some kind of traces. By taking the samples of the environment, we can run them through tests and determine what species of animals left that so called mark. This idea was applied to Loch Ness. Through the samples of water taken from there, scientists confirmed that the DNA doesn't match with that of plesiosaur. Instead, the DNA samples carried a different story for the fate of the Loch Ness monster. The DNA sample test results showed there was abundance of eels in the lake. The species of eels were believed to have migrated from the nearby waters quite long ago. Then they deducted that Nessie could just be an oversized eel. Well, it was more than enough to convince most of the people that Nessie was not a monster after all. Yet, we can still argue that we have to capture the eel and provide a visual confirmation to satisfy all parties. So, what do you think about the Loch Ness monster? Will you take the scientists for their words or still ponder if it's a monster yet to be discovered? Sparing that question, we have reached the end of this video. See you soon with another interesting video from Quantum Vimana.